A toddler cried alone in his cot for 3 days, surrounded by the bodies of 2 murdered women in a house on Easey Street. One was his mother. The other was her housemate, a teacher whose own student allegedly fled to Greece that week and disappeared for 47 years. He fled the bloodied house and built a new life abroad for decades, free in the sun, while a toddler cried alone in his cot amid the bodies of 2 women who trusted their home. Suzanne Armstrong and Susan Bartlett had shared dinner with family that night. Their son Gregory went to sleep unaware. What kind of man butchers a mother, then walks away, leaving a 16-month-old alone for days to cry out in a house filled with blood and shadows, and calls escaping justice a second chance? If cases like this are why you're here, subscribe and turn on notifications. Cold Trail documents fully sourced cases from verified court records and law enforcement files. What comes next changes everything. Suzanne Armstrong was 28, a single mother from Benalla, Victoria. Her son, Gregory, 16 months old, conceived during a trip to Naxos, Greece, lived with her in the modest rental at 147 Easey Street, Collingwood. Her high school friend, Susan Bartlett, 27, an arts and crafts teacher at Collingwood Education Centre, shared the house. They'd moved in just 10 weeks earlier, building new lives together as young women in inner Melbourne. That night, January 10th, 1977, Susan's brother and his girlfriend came for dinner. Laughter filled the kitchen table. They left around 9 p.m. Gregory went down in his routine, safe, unaware, tucked into his cot as the 2 women settled their ordinary evening. What nobody knew, not their families, not the neighbors just houses away, was that evidence from what happened next had already been left behind. It would take 47 years for science to read it. 3 days later, on January 13th, 1977, neighbors noticed something wrong at 147 Easey Street, the back door ajar, the family puppy running loose in the street. They stepped inside, expecting a welfare check. What they found was a scene of calculated brutality that still haunts Melbourne's collective memory. Gregory Armstrong, just 16 months old, lay dehydrated but miraculously alive in his cot, his cries finally heard after days alone. Susan Bartlett was face down near the front door, her body bearing 55 stab wounds, defensive marks on her hands and arms showing she fought hard for her life. Suzanne Armstrong lay in her bedroom, stabbed 27 times, with evidence of post-mortem sexual assault semen left at the scene. What my research uncovered was a crime methodically staged. No signs of forced entry, just a possible footprint at the front window, suggesting the killer slipped in unnoticed. The perpetrator had taken time to clean up afterward, using the home's own bathtub and towels to wash away blood. The kitchen light burned on, left as if in casual exit. No murder weapon ever recovered, just the echoes of violence in a house meant for new beginnings. In 1977, forensic science stood at a primitive edge. Police collected fingerprints from door frames and surfaces, blood spatter patterns, and that critical semen sample from Suzanne's bedroom. They photographed every angle, bagged clothing, even noted the puppy's wandering as a timeline clue. But technology could only preserve it, could not identify. No national DNA database existed yet. Suspect profiles couldn't be built or matched without a reference. Victoria Police meticulously documented everything, sealing evidence in bags that would sit untouched for decades. Samples went into cold storage, labeled and logged with foresight few cases received back then. That semen evidence, in particular, stayed viable, a silent witness no one knew how to interrogate. Fingerprints ran dry against records. The footprint led nowhere. Science had reached its limit. One piece endured, frozen in time, waiting for a future that could finally speak its language. What hidden truth did it hold? A task force of 16 detectives hit the ground running, canvassing Collingwood streets, the builders working nearby sites, anyone who might have crossed paths with the women. They interviewed over 130 persons of interest, neighbors, students from Susan's classes at Collingwood Education Centre, ex-partners, even Greek connections from Suzanne's past trip to Naxos. Rewards flowed. $50,000 posted in 1978 to lure tips. Police chased false leads, like men seen lurking, cars parked oddly near Easey Street. What my research uncovered was the sheer scale, thousands of man-hours, sketches circulated in papers, public appeals on radio. By 1999, DNA entered the equation. They pulled profiles from 8 prime suspects, men whose alibis wavered or stories shifted. Tests ran. All came back negative. No hit in early databases like CODIS equivalents down under. Witnesses aged, memories blurred. Builders moved on, students graduated, the neighborhood rebuilt without answers. Tips slowed to whispers. The file grew thick with dead ends. Rewards climbed to $1 million by 2017, a desperate signal flare. Still, silence. The case became Victoria's most notorious unsolved double homicide. Brutal, personal, defying closure. Detectives rotated out, retired, passed away carrying the weight. The public grew numb, then forgot. But one element never yielded. That preserved semen sample from 1977, catalogued, recatalogued, sealed against decay. It waited through policy changes, lab upgrades, forensic revolutions. Then the years began to move. Gregory Armstrong, adopted by his aunt after the horror, navigated life's cruel markers without his mother, first days of school, teenage rebellions, graduations into manhood, all shadowed by a question mark over Suzanne's absence. Birthdays came hollow, family gatherings echoed with what-ifs. Susan Bartlett's loved ones marked anniversaries of her teaching passion, arts projects left unfinished, high school friends from Benalla scattering with time. Gregory's voice emerging years later, public advocacy, pushing police, demanding the file stay alive. Victoria labeled it one of its most savage unsolved crimes, a stain on justice, fueling podcasts and pleas. Families endured funerals of parents who died unsolved, weddings without the women's joy. Milestones piled, Gregory's 20s, 30s, 40s, motherless. Silence bred despair. Police quietly upped rewards, but tips stayed cold. What my research discovered was a turning point in the 2020s. Advances in retesting old samples prompted Victoria Police to crack open storage. Detectives dusted off the evidence logs. They walked it back into modern labs, eyes on that 1977 semen. But what secrets did the machines finally unlock? Cold Trail is one of the few channels that builds every episode from verified court records and law enforcement documents. If that matters to you, subscribe. Justice took 47 years to stir. Stay until the end. No genetic genealogy unlocked this one. Pure, direct retesting of the preserved 1977 semen profile against advancing forensic databases. No family trees traced. No public lab or genealogist stepping forward in reports. The power of persistence. Old biology meeting new tech, yielding a profile so refined it pierced international records. Prosecutors later called it highly likely in court. The match sharpened. Then it named a man, Periklis, Kouroumblis. The name hung on a screen in Victoria Police headquarters. Periklis Kouroumblis. Who was the 17-year-old shadow behind it? Allegedly, Periklis Kouroumblis, Susan Bartlett's own student at the time, had slipped police radar by fleeing to Greece ahead of a 2017 DNA request safe there under statute of limitations as a dual Australian-Greek citizen. Details on his decades abroad stay sparse in verified records. No specific job traced, no neighborhood profiled, no family roles or public persona detailed beyond evasion. 1977 traffic stop yielding a knife from his car ruled too big to match wounds, but logged ominously close to the murders. Fast forward. Arrested in Rome 2024 via Interpol Red Notice, extradited December 2024 to Melbourne. Charged with the murders of Suzanne Armstrong and Susan Bartlett, plus rape pleads not guilty across the board. Committal hearings rolled October 2025. 19 witnesses, neighbor testimony on the door ajar, DNA arguments dissected. Prosecutors leaned on that semen link. Defense challenged handling. Pre-trial looms July 2026 in Victoria Supreme Court. Rape charge reinstated March 2026. No conviction yet, justice pending. Gregory, grown and adopted by his aunt, had advocated relentlessly, his voice amplifying the weight. Families of both women spoke through police channels of relief, mixed with raw pain, 47 years stolen. Their press moments focused not on vengeance, but memory. Suzanne and Susan restored. Mothers, teachers, friends, dignity reclaimed in the light. Not the accused in irons, their story endures. Suzanne Armstrong and Susan Bartlett waited 47 years for this. Their family waited 47 years for this. Cold Trail will keep documenting every case until every name has an answer. Subscribe. Share this. Their story deserves to be heard.